A root canal is $150. A migraine is $200. Not that I get the money. The company gets it. What I get is $12 an hour plus reimbursement for painkillers. Not that they work. I feel pain for money. Other people's pain. Yeah, physical, emotional, you name it. Death of a cousin is $500. Death of a sibling is $1,250. Parents are $2,000 apiece, but depending on the situation, people will pay all kinds of money. For all kinds of reasons, or for no reason at all. Pain is an illusion, I know, and so is time. The shift manager never stops reminding us. It doesn't help when you're on your third broken leg of the day. Don't feel like having a bad day? That's a line from one of our commercials. Let someone else have it for you. Sociology professor at UC Berkeley, Arlie Hochschild, describes the term deep acting, or the process of altering one's actual emotional state by putting oneself in the shoes of someone who they are trying to empathize with. Charles Yu explored this idea through a man whose life centers on helping others process their emotion while neglecting his own. The recent COVID-19 pandemic has forced essential workers to perform this deep act, juggling threats from the anti-mask contingent, while also trying to empathize with them to ensure peace. This constant emotional balancing risks one's own health, while raising the possibility of long-term psychological consequences. Standard Loneliness Package by Charles Yu. I get to work late, and there are already 9 tickets in my inbox. I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and open my first ticket of the day. I'm at a funeral. I'm feeling grief. Someone else's grief. I'm feeling a mixture of things. Grief, mostly, but I also detect that there is some guilt in there. There usually is. I hear crying. I'm seeing crying faces. Okay. Body is going into the ground now. And I'm feeling that feeling. The one that these people seem to get near the end of a funeral service. Different operators have different ways to describe it, but for me, it feels like a huge boot. Huge, like it fills up the sky. The whole galaxy, all of space. Some kind of infinite foot. And it's stepping on my chest. The funeral ends, and the boot is still on me. It doesn't hurt. It's not what I would call comfortable, but it's not pain either. More like pressure. When I get to work the next day, there's a woman sitting in the cubicle across from mine. She has the new employee kit spread out, and she's reading the trainee handbook. I think about going over and saying hi, but who am I kidding? I'm still me, so I just say nothing. The first ticket of the day is a deathbed. They're pulling the plug on Grandpa this morning. I'm holding his hand. I cry. He gives my hand a tight squeeze. One last burst of strength. And then his hand goes limp. And his arm falls away. I cry. And not just my client, but I cry too. I don't know why exactly. Maybe it's because when Grandpa was looking at his grandson for the last time, looking in his eyes, looking around in there, trying to find him, he saw me instead. and he knew what had happened. He didn't even look mad, just hurt. I try to see if I can steal a glance at the new woman. She's also in the middle of a ticket. She appears to be suffering. She catches me looking at her, so I glance down on my feet. After lunch, I pass her in the hallway. Her name badge says Kurthy. She doesn't look at me. Although I feel, or maybe I wish, or I imagine, that she's consciously not looking at me. And I can tell she knows that I'm not looking at her. We're both not looking at each other. And for some reason, for the first time in a long while, I have hope. The first time I talk to Kurthy, we are by the water fountain. I tell her we're neighbors, cubicle-wise. She says she knows. The second time we speak, we are also by the water fountain, and I try to make a joke. One of those, we have to stop meeting like this things. She doesn't laugh. But she doesn't frown either. Still, I am happy, even when I'm in someone else's body. I'm at a funeral. My client's heart aches. But inside of that is my heart. Not aching. The opposite of aching. Doing that. Whatever that is. Kurthy hasn't been to work in 2 days. I ask her, and she doesn't talk to me for a week. And then, on Friday night, she takes me to see her father. He won't last long. We both know it. A week later, her father passes away. 3 days after that, when I come into work, there's a note on my desk. It's the time of the funeral service. Just the time. I arrange for the hour, and when the time comes, I open the ticket. I'm expecting a funeral, and I am not at a funeral. I'm inside of her head. I am a good person, she is thinking. I deserve more, she believes. I deserve to be loved, she thinks. But she doesn't believe it. I can feel her sadness with each step. And then, just the faintest hint of it. A smile. She's remembering us. The few happy moments we had together. I'm not at a funeral. I'm thinking of someone I might have loved. I don't know if I am her thinking of me, or if I am me thinking of her. Nor if maybe, right at this moment, there is no difference.